Hi again, welcome to the Garage Jean-Pierre. Hope you're still enjoying that series on repairing the Wilton vise, the broken corner. Starting to look good. I'm not exactly finished, but this episode will show you one more step. I think it's not just the repair in itself that's important. I think this shows how to, let's say, manage shapes, manage measurements, manage a little bit more than basic operations. To be a good machinist, you got to be able to master a few of those things. And I think this is a nice project for that. You know, clamping, holding, order of operations, measuring. Let's see how it turns out, and let's see if you got other ways to do it. I mean, fair enough. I mean, I'm not the only one that knows how to do something. Other people are doing great jobs too, but this is the way I'm doing it, and sharing this with you. So let's go and do some machining. To get close, maybe 3, 4, 5 thousandths, maybe at the most 10. You just get this collet here. If I get this here, it won't go into the bore. It's slightly bigger, tapered. So what I do, I just install it in the collet in the milling machine itself. I install it there and get the quill down. Oops, I need a little bit more range. And just move the table X and Y visually till I get really a good feeling. I go as deep as I can, then I'm close enough after to use the indicator. Before we ever install anything on the rotary table, we need to set this in the middle. We're not exactly set up. Let's try to so okay, this side there in the front, the back. Okay, let's try to get, we're about there. Set the 0 there. Just make sure that we're stable. We're on this side of the 0, and we're on the other side of the 0. So that's x-axis. We go as perpendicular, not perpendicular, but as parallel with the x-axis as possible. So let's try to bring this to 0. Normally you work by dividing your difference in two. Let's go see the other side. We're within half a thousand. Let's say for the y-axis now. Y-axis will bring that to 0. About within half a thousand. I think that should be excellent. Within 1,000 on this side, maybe just a little bit more. I would say half a thousand. This bore inside there is cylindrical. It's nothing. It's no taper bore. So we'll set the DRO to the 00 for X and Y. I was about within 3 or 4 thousandths when I set it up with the the previous approximation, getting closer. Okay, you all remember this ring, this pattern or whatever I made with the vise. This is the curvature of the vise. I'm going to be using a very small drill bit here. Oops, unlock the quill, and I'm going to. This is centered, so let's see if everything is. I think we're pretty well. This is good. We're sticking the paper on the template on rotary table, and this is going on there. There we go. I'm going to be centering very close from the line. I'll be checking the this part there to make sure that I'm exactly in the right spot, and we'll proceed. There you go. I've been fiddling about maybe a 5 minutes with this. I'm pretty close from the original line on there. See the corner there. The other corner is about the same thing. I'm a little bit pushed out, but very lightly. I have an indicator here. The indicator is on the the fixed part of the rotary table, and I'm going about in the middle there, set my 0, and I'm going one side, which is about 3,000s, 4,000s, I would say, something like that, from the point of view I got here. And going to the other side, I'm also 4,000s in this direction. Center is, that's a 0. And what I'm going to do now is I need to push out a little bit the whole vise itself to move it out a little bit. There you go. I'm not very far. It's a little bit fiddly to kind of try to get perfectly on. If I'm within 1,000 or 2, I'll be kind of happy, because with this kind of stuff, the precision is will be, I think, good enough. Okay, I'm 3,000s on one side, and I'm about 3,000s on the other side. So a little bit more, one little shot more, just a little bit. I'm trying to push the whole vise all at once. Okay, I got my holding clamps lightly loose. Naturally, I don't want to have to use a big truck to move the whole thing. There you go. One, a little bit more than one or something, but this is about moving from 1 to 2,000. So I'm set. The center of the table is set now. I'm going to tie these bolts here, make my setup stable. And I also had to check that everything here was, this lower one was perpendicular with the top one, and everything was going to be straight. So rotary table is centered. The thousandths is here. This is tenths of thousandths. That doesn't really bother me. We'll be moving along on the x-axis only. They're here, and try to see that by rotating the table that we're getting an even distribution all along there. Okay, I'm slipping very slightly. That's good. That's what I want. I was a little bit too heavy in it before. So slipping a little bit. Yeah, slipping a little bit. So far, so good. We're not getting material. We're slipping a little bit. I think we're pretty good. What I'll do here, I'll be going into the number 2 there. Y0, Z0, and we'll start it from there. And like I say, never going into the under the 0 there. Around 700 RPMs. Now that the surface is getting more even, I'll be not climb milling, sorry, I'll be conventional milling, not too fast, and I'll be going along with the direction of the keeping the table tight. We're taking about, let's say, 50 thousandths. Running about 700 RPMs. Let's go deeper. Same depth of cut. only deeper. Something you want to watch is the heat in there. It's, I would say, just a little bit above room temperature, which is good. You don't want to get this very hot because you can have a bad surprise. Nice spring pass on the way back. Let's get the whole thing now. As you can see now, I'm almost done roughing. Just going to be this last part there. I'm very close from matching with the other existing surface, maybe 12, 15 thousandths. I'll be doing this. Everything seems very good, seems very fine. That doesn't heat up. That's one nice feature of cast iron. It doesn't rub as much as the other materials, and the heating up is not as much of a problem. That's I like about that. Let's go climb milling very gently on this. Grabbing the epoxy there. And we're still cutting, only relying on the epoxy to be the only link to the original part. No fasteners, no nothing. And with that kind of epoxy, like, some are worried, but I'm not. I'm not very comfortable to handle the table though. There we go. Don't even need the spring pass on this. I'm just grabbing it, very lightly grabbing it with my nail, so it means that we're very close. So now we'll be going for the the last little bit. So we should be about maybe 4 or 5 thousandths from the goal. I'm going in very slowly. That's it, we're there. I'm going to just back off a little bit. Okay, I backed off about maybe 3/10 of a thousand, and we'll be taking this last cut full width of a since I'm climb milling, the cutter won't require as much, let's say, spring cut or whatever. Just it will do a better job at grabbing on the first shot. That's it. And there's no spring cutting because everything been grabbed the first time. Excellent. And I'm not even grabbing on the original matter. Wow, that's nice. Happy with this. I think we're pretty good. If you see here, we just barely touched, like a few tenths maybe or something. Okay, while having this cutter here, I'll be cleaning up the top for while we're there. Let me just okay. Reference is 0 here, and okay, 0. I'll use the knee for this. I lifted a little bit. Don't want to rub. I don't want to get this these markings. I just make sure the knee's okay, and let's go. We're cutting about maybe 40 thousandths, maybe 30 thousandths. Okay, let's go easy. Still relying on the epoxy itself to hold the whole stuff. Okay, another part done. Also, while being at it, I need to make this flush with the front there. So I'll be using this here, referencing to this part. I also made sure the rotary table and everything was a right angle, you know, parallel with the x-axis. Next step about this, I'm going to be using a carbide end mill. I'm going to make sure that I'm following this path here, and I'll be attacking this this inner diameter here, roughing, giving me a few thousandths for finishing. And after okay, let's put the x-axis. You don't move your y-axis on this. You leave it as is. Get this down. Touch bottom. Come back up a little bit. Let's move this direction. I'll try to get the where the paper's starting to rub. It's in neutral, so it helps. So I know from there I'm only having a few thousandths, a little bit more. It's not be rubbing a little bit more. Okay, this is cutting in. So I'll be taking a note of where exactly the x-axis is. So this is going to be my reference. Enter at 0, and from there I'm going to be moving a little bit, enough to give me some room to work. There you go. I'm gonna give me like 20 thousandths of finishing cut. I don't want to go too much on the left side because I'm going to be rubbing on this part, but that should be giving me the extra room, or the room I need to eat this up. I'm going to go conventional milling. That could be risky to go climb milling on this. Okay, bottom, get up a little bit. Let's go. And since we didn't move anything from the last time, we're still calibrated to follow the radius on this. Carbide and mill, 1200. Still relying only on the epoxy material. And I'm going with the path that let's say the rotary table is not having the slack. I'll slow it down a little bit because I'm getting some chatter pretty much. And I don't want to have to go faster. 800. Make sure that nothing gets too hot. We're fine. There we go. At last. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I want to catch the bottom of this. And also I want to get very near the wall. So I got about 10 thousandths, a little bit more. Yeah, I'm getting about half a thousandth of grind in there. Let's get the bottom of this. I'll use the Z-axis for this. Okay, we're getting the bottom of this. Z0. We'll be locking the X. And we'll be climb milling this one. Back to 0. Okay, let's hope for the best now. Okay, table's locked. I'm applying a little bit of tension on the rotary table, so I don't want to get screwed with the table just going wild. There we go. Excellent, we're doing perfect match. No more grinding after we finish that little crack. That's good. Happy. Even the bottom looks good. So I think we'll have supper. Deserved it.